Hi, this is Alan Lohman. Thank you so much for being interested in the materials that we have to offer. These materials will definitely help you earn your social studies distinction this year. Last year at our campus, with using these materials, we earned a distinction. And not only that, we were second overall in our campus comparison group. The year before that, we were number one in our overall campus comparison group. The year before that, we were number three overall. The year before that, we were number one overall in our campus comparison group. So we've gotten great results with these materials. We start off knowing that there's 92 TEKS in the eighth grade social studies content, and each of these TEKS has about 10 or 15 different things that we're supposed to instruct our students on. And we do instruct our students on those things. Lead Forward will tell you which TEKS are important, but they won't tell you specifically which pieces of content within the TEK are important. But that's where I come in. I can show you which pieces of content have been tested at least one or more times, which pieces of content have been tested two or more times, and then which pieces of content have been tested three or more times. So I'm giving you a systematic prioritization of all the thousands of facts that they're supposed to know, which ones are the most important, which ones you need to make sure your students have down. Because over the last 5 years, the STAR test has repeated content over and over again, so much so that 80% of the STAR test last year came from repeatable content. This is another bar graph just showing you how often the STAR test is repeating content. And then this is a great chart right here. There's 38 pieces of content, for example, like the First Amendment, that have been asked at least three or more times. That has comprised 62% of the STAR test over the last 5 years. 38 things, that's it. Not the thousands of things, but 38 different things have been 62% of the test. If you look over here, there's been an additional 27 pieces of content that have been asked two times, and that's been 22% of the STAR test. And then your last 16% of the STAR test has randomly come from this 900 pieces of content. So as a teacher, this spring semester, when you're trying to make sure your students are geared up for the STAR test, what do they need to know? Between these 65 pieces of content, that's probably going to be 84% of the STAR test this year. That's what they need to focus on. So I've taken those 65 different pieces of content. Here is what my cheat sheet looks like. It has the era and the pieces of content within that era that have been tested two or more times. So here's the exploration era. Here's the two main things that they need to know from the exploration era. Here's the colonization era. Here is the 5 most important things they need to know about the colonization era. And so it goes on, era by era, and it ends up being just one sheet front and back that the students are using to prepare for the test. And it's also something that I use as a teacher to make sure as I'm teaching this spring semester, what do I need to focus on? And then what do I need to go back and spiral in from the fall semester? And then I also have this chart on this tab right here, tab number 1. It has the eras from the first semester, the exploration era. It has lesson number 1 on the exploration era, the two different pieces of content I'm teaching, and then if those pieces of content have been tested in the previous years. So I can see right here, Marco Polo has never been tested, but Reasons for Exploration has been tested twice, one time in 2016, and let me see what that question says. Okay, the answer is to expand empires, interesting. And then in 2017, Reasons for Exploration, to claim new territory. So that's interesting because as teachers in 8th grade, we've been taught to teach them goal, God, and glory, goal, God, and glory. But really quickly, I just clicked these questions and saw that's not how it's been asked. Expand empires, claim territory. This has given me instruction this year to tell my students, when I'm teaching this, goal, God, and glory, that's true, but let me give you some other vocabulary that might show up on the STAR test. And so I have every single release STAR question arranged by the era that it's in, arranged by the content, and how many times it's been tested over the last 5 years. So this has been amazing for our team. We can quickly diagnose the colonization era. What's one thing that they definitely have to walk away with? This growth of representative government. And you can see how many times it's been tested, and we can click on it, and we can see the different ways that it's been asked over the previous years, so that as we're teaching, we're using the right vocabulary. So that has really been the difference for our team. We're focusing on the right pieces of content. We're zooming in on within those pieces of content, what are the words that keep showing up on the STAR test? And that has just been amazing for our team to help our students achieve. And then this is the last thing, one of the strategies that our team uses. This is called a storyboard, and we give our students a blank sheet of paper, and then we explain to them the story of American history. So we teach them during the exploration era, people discovered new land. During the colonization era, people built their homes on this new land. During the American Revolution era, we fight to become our own country from Britain. And during the Constitution era, we create our own government for the new country we formed. And so, really quickly, the students are able to have a one sentence summary of each era, and they kind of flow. And by the end of me teaching them this over and over and over again, they draw this diagram over and over and over again from memory. The students understand the story of American history very well, and all these facts that we were just teaching them have a place to hang in their minds. So we're not just teaching them the facts, but we're also building in what's the overarching story of American history, and that's on this page right here. I have a separate video that goes more in detail of how to use this storyboard. I also have a separate video of how specifically we've used this study sheet in class, and then more specific video on, okay, exactly how does my team use this chart right here to teach more strategically. I've just given you a basic overview, but anyway, if you have more questions, please ask me. I love talking history and strategy in the STAR test and with other teachers. So I hope this was a good presentation. You found it helpful. And please call me or email me if you have any questions. Thank you.